Are we live? There we go. Hey, it's me, Tyler, and today we are back we're back to doing CAD. We actually haven't done it in a couple weeks, so we've been so signed up for Winter Wars. I didn't. Oh, do I have Jackalope signed up for Winter Wars? I should. Are you looking at the same Winter Wars? You're throwing me off talking about. Is it this upcoming Winter Wars? Because it was signed up for the previous Winter Wars. It's not signed up for Winter Wars. Are you looking at last year's Winter Wars for 2025? Because I think that might be what's going on. Because yeah. Oh, I realized I didn't have my screen up. Yeah, today we're working on Hodag actually. But if we, I was looking at RCE. Because the upcoming one, we don't have Jackalope. Yeah. I think you might have been looking at last year's Winter Wars. Because because it did go to did go to Winter Wars in the beginning of 2025. But yeah, Jackalope, I have no plans on taking Jackalope anywhere. And I did update the description. I'm surprised you noticed that. That was pretty recent that I updated the description in my channel feed. That was like literally this week. Because things have been a lot slower recently. Because I got my robots ready like weeks before. Hodag, I got most of Bigfoot ready like a month ago, and then I got Hodag ready over Christmas. But originally, basically what I was going to do, if you notice this was already open, my plan is to basically turn Hodag into a regular vert and have a version of that. Originally, I was thinking it was going to be a completely separate robot, but I'm realizing that with what I have planned, that odds are it's going to be a brand new robot. And I have mixed feelings about that fact because I know everybody loves Hodag the way it is, and so the thing is, we'll have to see how much weight difference. I'll literally end up having to weigh it basically to see where we're at. Actually, now I'm thinking about it. The slide support was actually I think I might configure the slide support as opposed to suppressing it. I think I'm gonna configure it because I realized otherwise I'm sort of undoing a bunch of work. So for those tuning in, what we're doing is we're basically making a configuration, or I'm not sure if it'll end up being a configuration or a new robot. That's going to depend entirely on how much weight is in the weapon assembly. But basically, we're making a regular one. Is that what Razor Leaf is? I was like, I don't know if this is this the same as what Razor Leaf is. I realized how this was meant for a much smaller motor, but we can make it work. We can make this fit. I went with this motor because it'll be supported on both sides, and it felt like the right choice. I think what I want to do is what we're going to actually do. Sorry, I'm thinking to myself as I go. I think we're going to start out by inserting a... So we're going to create a new part and... we're going to make a virtual disk starting out. That way I know how big where it has to be and how big the weapon's gonna end up being. So we'll call this alt Hodag. We'll call it 3.5. I think that makes appropriate. I don't know. But and then for that we're going to create a subassembly. Okay. So we're gonna end up editing this part. Actually, we're gonna open the subassembly. I think that might be an easier way to do it. And then we're gonna edit that part. Basically, this is to give us a. Oh yeah, I have to create a sketch plan. We're gonna do pretty much we're gonna do bog standard, as recommended, thickness. I'm gonna start out at. Oh, we're gonna start at 4 inches. I don't know why this is millimeters. I'm gonna put this in inches. This feels right for this. Since this is. What do you think is the right name? Because I already had something in mind if it ends up being a new robot. Skunk Ape? I mean, yeah, it is basically the same as. This is basically what I did with Skunk Ape. That is not lost on me. I knew going into this that this was basically doing the same thing. And I mean, it wasn't a terrible idea when I did it then. Okay. So that's red. This is simulating a 4-inch blade, which is half an inch larger in diameter than current Hodag. And we want to keep I think we want to keep this as low to the ground as possible, basically. And I don't think we want any of the motor extending past the front of the robot. I think is part of it. Part of what we want to do. We want to keep this. I think we want to keep the center shaft above the plastic part here. While we're at it, what I want to do is I want to configure this. Yeah. So what we're going to do is we're actually going to create a configure, add a derived configuration. I thought about doing a part from scratch, but I decided on a configuration at the 11th hour, pretty much. And then what I got to make sure to, in this configuration, you know, I'm going to suppress this one because it's a mirroring a part, and I'm going to have to mirror the part in the part because it's going to actually have to create a different part. So that's why I didn't, because that one is symmetrical, but as you can see, this is not going to be able to just be a flat piece of UHMW. That's not an option. Sorry, I'm thinking to myself how I want to do this. Um, I think we're going to create a sketch and we're going to create something that puts the axle, I guess we'll call it, where we want it, like in the correct position, and then we're going to work from there. And then we're going to like kind of finagle things, because I think what I want to do, actually, first off, I want to do some mates. I want to mate this so it's a little bit closer to where we want it. But we're going to start out with a, wait, well, with or symmetric? I think I want symmetric. We'll do it the right plane, and then we'll do the sides of this. Actually, did Seth do this correctly in a way? Or I don't even know if that necessarily matters what Seth did. Nope, it is not. There's not a plane where I want there to be a plane. Actually, we'll create a plane. Fine. We're gonna create a reference geometry in this file, since it didn't carry over, even if Seth did a one originally. That way, we have a plane that is the center mass of the weapon. Because that's better. That is it's better to do that than the symmetric mate. I'm tripping. I'm trying to find rename tree item. There we go. Oh no. I don't know if that's good or a bad thing that this is the motivation for something else. We're going to do that, and we're going to do this to the right plane of the assembly. Part of me wants to, like, no, I don't want to. I think I want to avoid having our little assembly centered or like dependent on this. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to edit this, and we're going to basically create a sketch off of it. And I'm going to basically extrude it out, and then I'm going to cut away what I need to make the weapon fit. I'm definitely going to end up changing where the holes are. Because we're basically going to end up doing something like this. I want this perpendicular to that. Actually, what we're going to do is we're going to do... I'm actually probably going to end up filling in these holes and creating new ones. Or I'll have it be 3D printed and won't care. One of those two. Because what we're going to do is we're going to do that. Make sure this is perpendicular to that. Because this part is basically going to give us... We're going to give them 1 millimeter gap. I don't think the gap matters. Basically, it's probably going to end up being the height. We're trying to make this the height. I may end up doing an I might do a top, basically somewhere to have it be the where the top plate is. I mean, this version of Hodag's already inspired by Pipeline Punch pretty closely. Yeah, this is definitely going to be a smaller weapon than Pipeline Punch. It's always going to be a small weapon because Hodag already naturally has a smaller weapon. And so there's only going to be so much room, even though this will be a larger weapon. Otherwise, I feel like if it's not a larger weapon, it kind of defeats the purpose. But I think, yeah. What's funny is even though I'm buying like a $95 hub motor, this is still going to be cheaper than the current version of Hodag. I can guarantee you that. Okay. Um, so, how do I want to do this? So I pretty much want this to be, I'm gonna do something like that. I'm gonna create a hole, even though I don't think I need a hole there because there's not really a through shaft. I'm gonna be mounting it like on through this with the screws. I think we're gonna have like a 5mm hole somewhere. And the idea being this is where the center of the weapon's gonna be, and I'm gonna use this to mate. This please tell me I actually made that no, it's not gonna be that's not perpendicular. And what are you doing? That's not what I did. Here we go. Sometimes I use when I use the mouse shortcuts because when I left click, it brings that wheel up. Whenever I left click or whenever I hold left click, I can like move the mouse to quick select things. I didn't know that they didn't teach me that in college. I had to learn that after the fact. So that's a little tip for you. I don't think I ever really talked about that, even though I constantly use it. Hmm. I think I'm gonna make this slightly higher than. Oh, control. Nope. I don't know what I did, but I didn't want to do it. We're gonna do that slightly higher than the front. So let me double check something. I think I want what it's mounting to be just the size of, I think this. That's not what I'm not trying to make, right? That's 20, I think, so we're probably gonna do like 27, 28mm. Actually, we might want to go closer out to the bearing, or closer to the edge of the bearing. So we're gonna go, we'll go 30. We'll do a clean 30. Or maybe a dirty 30, however you want to say it, I guess. I don't know what that. It's weird. It looked like I was editing it, but I was not. That means this is going to be 15. That is. Ooh, that is. Not, I was like, wait a minute. That is not how this is going down. This is not going to be the shape of it. Sorry, I'm thinking. Is, you know, just for shits and giggles. Okay, so one thing we're gonna do, sorry, bit of this, bit of that. Stop trying to, I'm not trying to do that. And we're gonna mate this to that. Oh, I don't think I mated it to the wrong thing. We're just trying to get some rough sketches currently. This is basically, I still want it to kind of look like Hodag, but also this is gonna be what's gonna keep our weapon from touching the ground when we're inverted. It's not gonna, I don't, maybe it'll be that. But I obviously am gonna constrain that later, hopefully. Wait, did I not? Am I missing something? Oh, I'm not. Oh, yeah, I am trying to do up to. Do I not? Do I not have any con? Sorry, I needed to select the contour. It's not like I created. Wait, I did the wrong surface. Surfaces. Whoops. Up to surface. Sorry. There we go. That should fix it. That looks goofy as hell, but then basically what I want to do is I want to have this. I had a feeling that was going to be too low because of course it was. Also, we're touching the ground, which is a bit of a problem. Yeah, there's a lot of issues right now. I just needed to get that first little version out. Also, the motor is inside. So we need to go just, I think I'm going to go just high enough that the motor is not inside the robot. I think that's how we're going to do it. And the moment that that's not inside the robot, we'll go. Doing robot CAD's a good idea. Okay, so I wanted to know what our constraints were. That was the goal of that. We need to figure out what our limits are so we can break them. I think actually how I'm going to do this. One, we're going to do that. We're going to do, how about that 32? A lot higher up than it looks. Oh, it's not actually high up. Because we're still inside the robot. Are we like dragging on the ground still? We are still on the ground, but we have to go higher anyway. Okay. I didn't realize how big 4 inches was. Sorry, I spaced out for a second there. I think 36 is going to be where we want to go. Yeah, obviously we're going to have to change some dimensions. But 36? That almost seems too high. I think we can go a little bit lower. $34 maybe? But yeah, I think 4 inches was the size, is the size we're going with. Rep. Okay, so we are currently not touching the ground, which is good. Because what is the... Yeah, we're about 2 millimeters above the bottom of the wheels, so maybe we do want to go a little bit higher. Give us an extra millimeter. Okay, that should be good. Now we can worry about other shit. That we're going to 54 seems kind of, because we're gonna probably end up rounding it off, so we're gonna do 55. And then okay, what am I thinking? How am I gonna constrain this? Is what I'm thinking. I think we're gonna do an angle. That end up looking. Okay, and then I'm trying to think of how we end up constraining that. Nope, I'm not trying. You think I'm trying to do SolidWorks, but that's not what I'm trying to do. Oops, I didn't want to do it that way, even though it's not a terrible way to do it. What we're gonna do is we're gonna have this. What angle do we want this to be? 45 seems fine. And then I think we want to do it by constraining this. By making that a certain size. Because I think the goal is that we basically don't see any motor in the profile. Okay, for now, before we mess with anything else, how does it look? I don't think we're going to have to worry about the weapon touching the ground. And the motor is like barely extending outside the front of the robot. So we're not going to... I do plan on having armor there, but it's going to be separate of the mount itself. Actually, well, sorry. I'm deciding that what I want to do is also... I want to fill in this hole since I'm probably going to replace this with a printed part. Or if I do a UHMW part, that I'm going to make new holes. So I'm going to fill in those holes. So we're just going to convert all these entities. We're basically going to undo the other. Nope, that's not what I want to do. I mean, I guess we could do it that way. It's not exactly eloquent, but I think it would actually work if I just did that whole face. Actually, no, it wouldn't. That's not actually what I want to do. Because I realize there's holes that I don't want to fill in. We'll just do it this way. Basic, yeah, that way we have a different way to, we're going to be controlling the size of that. Oh yeah, I have to change the thing to actually select contours. Okay, so what's our hole pattern? Whatever. Shut up. Shut up. Shut up. Oh my gosh. Is it 10 or is it 11? Definitely not 10. Does Seth say? I don't know why this is so fucking hard. Because this is a weird hole pattern. Yeah, I think yeah, because anything else doesn't make any sense. So we got 11. Eleven by 15, it looks like, is the whole pattern we're working at. Oops, sorry, I did not mean to hit the microphone with the pen. Okay, so that's what we're doing. That's what we're working. Get out of the way. And then we're gonna add those holes. We're actually gonna just do it to the sketch we're just working with. No, actually, we're gonna add new holes because that's kind of pissing me off. Actually, here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna actually do. We're gonna make this for construction. Go that way. We have. Do 11, I guess. Actually, I'm not gonna make these not vertical or horizontal or any of that. We're gonna rotate these a bit. Okay, we want to. Okay, we do still want them to be perpendicular. Okay, I was like, I at least want it a square still. I just don't need it to be. Okay, and then we're gonna make these equal, and they are 5 millimeters. So we're gonna 5 millimeter screws. We're gonna 4 there, and then we're gonna do whatever creates the most room for us. I think that's actually a pretty good angle right there, 20 degrees. I am gonna end up needing a. I'm gonna probably put an aluminum plate right underneath it. Actually, while I'm in the sketch, I'm going to create a hole that is a certain distance from this. That way, we have something that we can use as a for the pin. Hodag at home. I guess you could call this Hodag at home. I don't know why I did that. I meant to do 1/4 inch. I want to do that, and then because I want, and then we're gonna do me a center line. Put that there. Make it coincident. Is that not working the way I think it will? Oh, I guess. I was like trying to think of. Do I have control over the length of this? Something like that. I was like trying to think. I was like, is there a. I didn't feel like trying to find the minimum function. Wait, is there a. I'll worry about that later. Okay, so that makes holes for our. That creates holes for our mounting and for that. And with that, we're going to cut through all. And then we want to make room for our weapon motor. The thing is, like, I feel like if somebody, oh, I didn't mean to whole sketch. If someone was trying to create Hodag, they would not probably make it just a regular vert. Actually, before I do the cut, sorry, I did not mean to burp in your ear. I want to do some sort of chamfer here. Actually, I want to make it bigger. Because we basically want this chamfer to go all the way down, all the way up. What the hell? Oh, I think we're getting so big that it's... Okay. How's that look? That makes it look a little bit sturdier. Um, okay, now we want to cut. And from here, convert. And then I think we're going to say fuck it. And, or we're going to do an arc. Arc from here. Whoop. Oh my god. I hate it when it wants to make an arc from the opposite direction. Is when oh, we definitely want to save. Yeah, save. Sorry, we haven't saved in a while and I wanted to save. Oh, okay, we want to go a little bit further than that motor. 23 since we're like really close. Yeah, that should give it some breathing room. Then we can do some trimming from there. We got a trim. Oh, yes. Oh my god. Perfect. I think my math said 4.5. Is that correct? It's pretty goddamn close. I don't think there's something I didn't account. I might not have accounted for everything. Actually, no, wait. No, the actual motor itself. The inside of it. I was trying to. I have to see if there's like actual. Oh, yeah, I didn't quite. Not quite. Because I think I made my estimate based off of nominal sizes, and I did not allow for. Yeah, that'll be close. That's much closer, at least. Gets pulled in a little bit. Balancing should sort it out, you know. I'm debating if this needs more space. That feels entirely too tight. Said no one ever. 4. Is that gonna break it? Kinda. Damn it. Because what I'm trying to do is make it go all the way to edge, because otherwise we're going to have a weird little nub. I don't want a weird little nub. I have to trim this. It's going to get angry with me. We go to this. Come on. Stop playing with my heart. Oh, that. There. That way we do that. That way we don't got some goofiness. I think an extra millimeter of clearance will prevent it from like flexing into itself. Although I probably will add fillets. Oh, we'll do fillets last. Wait till the end to do fillets. Don't want to get ahead of myself. Although actually I think I'm done with that part. Oh, I was like, does it match up? Okay, it matches up. Just got to do, a discount double check. Um, do I modify the top plates? That's the question. Do I create new top plates? Because if I want to run it as Hodag, we want to avoid changing the top plates. If we don't want to run it as Hodag, we definitely want to change the top. Because I think we want to mount this assembly in the middle to the rest of the robot through the top. I'm double checking that I like this weapon size. Cause I mean that weapon size is big. 4 inches is enough in this case. I don't know about every case if 4 inches is enough. I can't, vouch for it in every situation. We can definitely go bigger on this part because I think we want a little bit more material there. Even though it's not going to be what's, 15-kilogram 4-wheel drive. I don't know much about robots once you get to 15 kilograms. I am not the person to ask. The biggest robot I've made is a 3-pound robot, so maybe someday I'll make one, but oh, that actually moved over. That should be fun. But yeah, I don't have any recommendations for drive motors. Not something I've looked into. Because I'm trying to think. Because I don't even talk to that many people that build 30s, since we don't really have many here in the Midwest, or like we don't really have events. I know people in the Midwest have stuff that'd be around 15 kilograms. Okay, what am I trying to do? Okay. Am I satisfied? Yeah, I know that I don't know. Yeah, I don't know what Just Cause does, but I know Repeat has stuff that's at least designed for 12-pound robots. But yeah, 15 kilos. Pretty much anything I would tell you would be a guess. Yeah, I know the Magnums, they say they're for 12s and 30s. I can't vouch for what size they're good for. I just know that Repeat sells stuff that says it's for 12s and 30s, but I also haven't really looked into that type of motor. We may need to make some adjustments. I think I'm gonna have to do a top plate, I think. Because I feel like the only way. Oh, okay. It does seem like a lot of motors that are 412s are also for 30-pound robot. I feel like there's gonna be too much air. I feel like I gotta do a new top. And if I ever have to disassemble Hodag, I am definitely measuring the weapon assembly size. It's far enough for. Is there? I'm also looking if there's a way I can bring it further more. No, I think if I bring that any further forward, we're gonna end up running into issues. I'm thinking it would be spicy if I just used the same top plates. Even though that would just create a hole for because also I feel like I would want to shore up the hole. We want to create a hole on that plane. Okay, we actually want to have it along the center plane, make sure it's centered. Do we just want to center it on this? I mean, it doesn't really matter where we put it. I'm just going to make it the same hole size as these ones, I guess. I don't know. Oh, that's not. Yeah, because these are 4M4 screws, so we're probably going to go 3.3 or something. And we could really go close to that edge. I think we want to do it from this edge because I think we're going to end up wanting to get as close as possible. Go to blade. DLC generally sufficient for it. 50-55s. Vertical circle spinner. I actually haven't made that many vertical spinners. 50-55s. I mean, that definitely seems like enough motor from what I can tell. That's almost sounds like a lot of motor for a 3 point or 2.5 kilogram. That'd be like forgetting how big that like. That's about 5 pounds. That's like a weird one. I think that would no. That sounds like the right amount for a 2.5 kilogram. Where are you guys running 2.5 kilogram? I guess I don't know what sizes they have outside the U.S. But yeah, because that's bigger than, that's almost like a mantis weight, but because that's bigger than a beetle. That's a interest. I've never even seen an event or anything around that size. Oh yeah, badass definitely has that type of motor. What did you say? BLDC? BLDC. Yeah, because that seems like the correct size if we're talking bigger than a beetle weight. And I'm guessing you're probably. Yeah, because I also haven't even made that many vertical spinners, to be honest. And the ones I've made have not been exactly successful. Um, okay, what is I gonna do? Like I was about to do, okay. Oh, I was gonna add some fillets, so this isn't because I feel like if I don't, that's entirely too big. Inside and out. Yeah, that should be correct. Basically right up to where it's supposed to be. Starts that way. Also, that should make it so it's easier to fit inside of there too. Not gonna get stuck on the edges. Oh, that is not okay. I'm actually gonna need to make that a little bit bigger. Oh, not that one. We went too far. Too far in the sketch. Nope, not the feature. Oh yeah, that's definitely not gonna work. So we're gonna change that. Oh. Yeah, but we'll get back to that. I want to finish what I'm doing before I fix the error. Because if I don't fix it, it'll come back. It's like I odds are it'll not go away. Is that the right angle? I'm realizing like oh yeah that's not even gonna work. I think. No, still ends. Still barely work. Yeah, I think the ear might need to be a little bit higher actually, because currently, I mean, if I create, I guess I could create a plane. Planes exist. Yeah, that'll be fine, I think. I think at that point, I'm more worried about if that's going to be enough material or if it's just going to end up quickly getting smushed and get stuck upside down. I guess it just won't be able to spin upside down. Okay, what's your? Oh my God, you hate me. What? Okay, now you're just lying to me. You're just making shit up. SolidWorks, why are you making stuff up? Oh, it's because that dimension broke everything. Okay. We're not even gonna constrain that because actually, wait a minute. I know what to do. I know what I meant to do. I know what'll do it. Sorry, I thought if I do this, this, make this for construction, make this line. Actually, there's an easier way I could have done it. I could have done a line straight to it, made it perpendicular, whatever. Good enough. Mission accomplished. I don't know how long I'm going to end up streaming today because I do have to drive down to Missouri tomorrow because that's a bit longer of a drive. Because this weekend I'm going to the I think 8:30. I'm gonna start wrapping up wherever I'm at. But for now, we're gonna keep going. Okay, we're gonna add a. We're gonna call this Alt Hodag. Alt Hodag 3.5, and this will be the weapon armor. Basically, I'm gonna create a TPU shroud. What type of weapon is it? Are you oh, you ask? Oh, I think you're asking him. Yeah, that is probably kind of important. Like if it's a drum, I guess I think he said disc. Circles, yeah. Yeah, diameter will, because some motors do not even get you the a kV that's good for your diameter. I also don't even know what sort of battery you would use in like a 2.5 kilogram. But okay, what was I doing? Oh yeah, we're gonna design some armor. So I think we're gonna borrow some holes from our dear old weapon assembly. I think we're actually just literally gonna convert entity. So I think we're literally gonna mount. We're gonna pancake it. It's gonna be the part holding it up and connecting it to the robot, the armor, and then there's gonna be a little plate. I may end up creating more holes, but we'll see what I end up doing then. There's like so many lines I'm looking through. Well, he said it was a disc is the thing. We're going to make this basically the diameter of our weapon, or the... We're going to do 30. We'll just, even 30? No, is that too big? It's a little big. I don't want to, like... 28, maybe? And then I think we'll have something perpendicular to the, I don't even know what we're calling this plane. Perpendicular to this little plane here. I'm going to do it using the, whatever it's called. Stop picking random points. We'll do you want, no, we'll do parallel, and we'll make it like a millimeter up. I'm not sure if this is going to end up, it might end up being a separate robot. It's definitely not going to be I'm not giving up on the punch spinner anytime soon. But running the punch spinner is expensive whenever it breaks because the slide assembly is so expensive. But the bones of it and like the structure of it lends itself really well to a vertical spinner already because it basically is a vertical spinner. So that is the thought process there. Basically. Okay, we're actually gonna do. We're just gonna make this tangent to that. I think that's how that's gonna work out, and that's gonna give us good shape. I think. And I think we're gonna start out with thin. Not that's not. We want this is literally gonna be just enough to like keep it mounted. 2 millimeters. No, that should be enough material. We just want enough material that it's not gonna like rip off easily with like 4 screws. Oh, that's not gonna work. There, we have a fork there. I was like thinking about. Let me see something. No, I think that's basically the highest thing we get. Right? Let me check. No, not. I'm realizing like, oh, this might not necessarily work with everything. Yeah, that's not. Yeah, the other one was probably better. Okay, so we want to make a cut so that we can actually fit that on there. But yeah, I think we want the. Now I got some goofiness going on because I know whatever I do, it's gonna break something. We literally want to cut the smallest amount of material because this is still part of what's protecting the rope. Maybe it's the angle. I think 45 is actually better. Oop. Well, I think we went in the right direction, just not far enough. A weird way to do this. Okay. No, I don't. Well, now that's too much of an angle. Because we want to keep as much of this material. That should be good enough. No, I don't like that. I think 30 was. I think I was on to something when I did 30. Yeah, skunk. This is basically what I did with Bigfoot, except for I don't know this. Although I think this will lend well. There'll definitely be a less weight difference. Like I don't think getting this in weight will be very difficult. Okay. Not gonna. Okay, it's not angry at me. We're not running into our own forks. I realized if I'm just doing this connected to the screws or like where the screws are, I don't need what am I saying? I don't need it to go back that far. This feels silly. Honestly, I think I'll get rid of that and just have this go onto the bottom. Just do a bit of that. Simplify the shape too. Not that, yeah. We may end up changing it a little bit more, but we'll. Then what we want to do. Sorry, I forgot exactly what. Okay, I know what I want to do. Okay, I was just trying to think of the. I want to like. Okay. This is definitely not the way I'd recommend doing this. I've like completely forgot the best way to do this as I'm doing it. We'll try offsetting entities. I know. Probably the dumbest way to do this, but I do things in the weirdest way. There's This is a goddamn joke. My life. The worst way to do it. I'm like, what am I doing? People are watching me. Embarrassing myself. Oh, this is gonna. Now we do. Not the best way to do it. I would not recommend it doing that way. But is one of the ways to do it. Is the way we just ended up doing. I'm also realizing now that we probably want to go further. Further. I don't know. Thing. Enough that this is look. Then we offset enough that it actually acts as armor. Why am I doing this? Why am I turning Hodag into a vert? I don't know. So I just so I can have a version of Hodag that I can drive around that I'm not getting rid of the punch spinner. The punch spinner is not terribly competitive. Is a big part of why I want something else to have. And yeah, unless the punch spinner starts suddenly being much more competitive. But yeah, I'm definitely have when I go to NHL in I'm hoping April. I'm still gonna be bringing the like the Hodag as a punch spinner. I don't know if I'll also have this, but in my pocket. But that depends on what the weights end up being. Big. Oh, the 26. That's pretty. Okay. I don't know what you're mating this to. But yeah, I mostly want options because I can't run a punch spinner at every single event. As much as that would be nice to. Because yeah, I'm certainly not going to get rid of. It's not like we're gonna cease to exist. Okay, what we want to do. Yeah, it's definitely, this isn't the death of Hodag as you know it. If anything, this is going to allow me to like make changes to the other parts of Hodag without having to like run something that's tripping. I can run Hodag without having to like always have the punch spinner. But we'll see how it ends up working in practice. Because I know in theory it's going to work one way, but I know in practice it's may not. I think. Oh, I think I just want this going vertically down. Yeah, we're gonna be. Part of me wants to run this as its own robot, but I'm not sure if how much I'll be able to get away with that. I'll have to, but so it's gonna. I'm gonna once I haven't actually weighed the weapon assembly on Hodag on its own, but if it's the weapon assembly is less than half the weight of the robot, I won't really be able to run it at MRC events, which is basically all of the events I go to. That might be an issue.